Inequalities. An inequality is an algebraic statement involving the following symbols: greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, and less than or equal to. And these are the inequality symbols. And we're just quickly going to say what each of these means. So x is greater than 3. This means we want any number that is bigger than 3. So we could have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. As long as it is bigger than 3, it satisfies x has got to be greater than 3. X is less than 5. This means we want any value that is less than 5. So we could have 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. As long as it is number less than 5, it satisfies x is less than 5. X is greater than or equal to minus 2. Now you'll notice this is different to the two above in the fact it's got this line underneath it, and this means that it could be equal to minus 2. So we're looking for any value that is minus 2 or more. So minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. X is less than or equal to 10. So yet again we've got this equals bit, which means we want any value that is less than or 10. So it could be 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, etc. And these are the 4 inequality symbols. And there's 3 things that we could be asked in an exam to do with these. We could be asked to write down the integer values that work for an inequality. We could be asked to draw an inequality on a number line, or we could be asked to solve an inequality. And the chances are in an exam you'll be asked to do all 3 bits together in one question. So what is an integer value? Well, an integer is a whole number, so 4, 5, 6, 7. 6.5 is not an integer because it's not a whole number. It's any whole number. So here we want any number that is greater than 4. X is greater than 4. Now remember, you may have been told this in primary school as the crocodile eats the bigger number. So we want numbers that are bigger than 4. But it can't be equal to 4 because it's not got a line underneath. So what numbers are bigger than 4? Well, we could have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, etc. They are all integer values that will work in that inequality. What about x is less than or equal to 2? So this time 2 is the biggest number we're going to have because the crocodile is eating the 2. So we want any number less than 2. Or it could be equal to 2. So we could have 2, 1, 0, minus 1, minus 2, etc. A very typical exam style question would be one like this, where we want minus 3, we want x is greater than minus 3, but also x is less than or equal to 2. Now, you'll notice that we haven't got the line underneath this one here, but we have here. So that means we could have the value 2. We could also have 1 because that's less than 2, 0, minus 1, minus 2. Can we have minus 3 though? Well, no, we can't because we haven't got that equal sign. So the integer values which work between x is greater than minus 3 but less than or equal to 2 is minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2. Now that is one type of question you could be asked in an exam. Another one is to draw a number line. Now there's 2 key points when drawing a number line, and that is if the circle is coloured in, it means we're including that value. So it means we're going to have the equals sign. But if it's not coloured in, it means we can't include that value, so it's not going to have the equal sign. And then we have to just look at the arrow and see which way it's pointing. So in this diagram, the key value is the 4. But if you look carefully, this circle isn't coloured in. So it means it's not going to be an equal to. So it's only going to be, out of our 4 choices, which are these, it means it can't be either of these n2. So we can cross those off. It means it's got to be either this one or this one. Well, are we looking for numbers more than 4 or less than 4? We want less than 4. So this is the less than sign, so x is less than 4. On this example, we've got a coloured in circle over 5. So this time, in our 4 choices, because it's coloured in, we actually want, it's going to be one of these two. So we can cross out these two symbols. So we want 5, and is x going to be bigger than 5 or less than 5? Well, x is going to be greater than or equal to 5. Also, you could be asked to write down an inequality like this, where we've got -1 and 2. So, we've got -1 to 2. They're the two key values, and x is in the middle. Well, because of where this line is, we know that we want numbers less than 2, and we want numbers that are bigger than -1. So x has got to be bigger than -1. But that isn't quite the answer, because if we look carefully, this one is coloured in, so it means on this one we have to add our equal to line. And this inequality represents this number line. And the final skill you could be asked to do involving inequalities is to solve an inequality. And this is done by using exactly the same methods as when you are solving equations. So you're using your inverse operations. So the opposite to adding is subtracting, and the opposite to times is dividing. So 3x plus 1 is less than 10. So firstly, we want to be left with 3x on one side and all the numbers on the other. So to do that, we've got to subtract 1 from both sides. So 3x, 1 take away 1 is 0, and 10 take away 1 is 9. Now we've got 3 times the number equals 9, so one lot of it is going to be 3. X is less than 3. This question, 4x minus 3 is greater than 17. Well, the first thing we want to remember is we want to be left with 4x on its own and all the numbers on the other side. So we're going to have to add 3 to both sides. So we're going to be left with 4x is greater than 20. So we only want one lot of x, so we're going to divide both sides by 4 to give us x is greater than 5. And the final example is this one, where we've got 3 in brackets, 4x plus 2 is less than or equal to 30. And remember, when you're solving a question like this, you firstly need to expand the bracket. So 3 times 4x is 12x, and 3 times 2 is 6. And this is less than or equal to 30. Now we're going to subtract 6 from both sides to leave ourselves with 12x is less than or equal to 24. And finally we want one lot of x, so we divide both sides by 12 to leave ourselves x is less than or equal to 2. And these are the 3 things that you could be asked to do with inequalities.